I have been involved with Humane Borders for almost a year now. When water tanks are missing a lot of water, we are pleased. That's because we know they are doing their job. Even though water seems like an abundant resource, hundreds of migrants have died from lack of it each year. We go out into the desert to maintain and replenish water tanks in areas where migrant deaths are concentrated.
And we're all going to ride together out to the desert to put some water out, and we got some volunteers here.
There have been about 15,000 volunteers, including myself, but today these lively ladies are going out into the desert with us.
This was the first time I'd ever traveled all alone, and that I had to change planes. And that was such a concern for me that I almost canceled my trip and got a direct flight, even if it was going to cost $200 more.
As we were being driven out to the water stations, my friend Bob was telling me and the other volunteers how the migrants not only are vulnerable to the desert, border patrol, or Minutemen, but also to the coyotes who only see them as money.
There was a kid from Guatemala, and he says, "Where are you going?" "Oh, I'm going to Chicago." "Chicago? Yeah, where's, you know how far it is?" "There's Wagner." He goes, "No, it's over there where this beacon is, right?" So the coyote told him this was Chicago, where the lights are flashing, and you'll be there. Somebody's going to pick you up and you're there. So I said, "Chicago? It's 4 hours by aeroplane from here to Tucson." So he was kind of depressed at the time. So we let him use our telephones so he could call Chicago, tell him that he'll be a little late.
My friend Bob has been with Humane Borders for years now, and he is the person who introduced me to the organization.
When we first moved here to Arizona, we were getting our house built. We were in a hotel room, and every morning I would read the paper. I think in July, and I was reading the paper every morning that there were deaths out in the desert. So I was wondering, what the hell do you mean deaths out in the desert? From lack of water, the migrants were crossing. And when I was living in California, I seen the end results. I never seen the beginning where these people would have to walk through. And the Sonora Desert is a very brutal area. And when I was in California, I just seen them at work, in the restaurants, landscaping business, and the construction business. But I never knew that it was so hard for them to get here. So one day I was reading the paper, and there was this woman and her child, that the child died. So I really got emotional about that. And I said, I got to do something. So then in the same article I read about Humane Borders, so I got involved with Humane Borders. And that's how I got going with them. We came across this migrant that flagged us, the Humane Borders truck. And he was in, I think, step 4 or 5. He's taken all his clothes off, and he had it all folded. His eyes were red, and he was incoherent. So, and the other people in the truck didn't know what to do. And I said, well, give him water. Give him water? No, let's give him a bath. Because his temperature was extremely high. Must have been over 100 degrees. So, that was very, very emotional day for me.
Some farmers are directly and negatively affected by migration. Ranchers and farmers report livestock being injured, fences being cut or torn down. Migrants also leave a lot of trash in the desert, but that is not an issue that can be easily solved because they will not stop crossing, and a fence would be far more devastating to the environment. On some hot summer days, migrants can be found under this bridge, which is constantly used by WACNA buses that transport captured migrants. I found it interesting that it is more than possible for migrants to be so physically close, but on very different junctions, considering both who make it and those that don't. There have been over 1,000 known deaths in the desert since 1999, and I'm sure that if it wasn't for organizations like Humane Borders, the number would be significantly higher. Knowing this, I will keep on volunteering because even though I am a U.S. citizen, I share many cultural and spiritual bonds with these illegal migrants. To do nothing would create a moral imbalance within myself.